Welcome back to the Brawl Network's covered of College Gridiron Showcase. Big day yesterday. Tons of players, tons of stories, tons of talent. And then we got to see their size.
And football players too, by the way. I mean, the talent is right here. I mean, the talent is right here.
There's a couple of them running around.
Yeah.
It's not as,
Yeah, I mean, whatever. We're really here for us. I mean, whatever they do is cool, but we're here for us.
We've been rubbing off on them.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So, been a great day. It was nice to see these measurements coming out last night and this morning, and going into today. It kind of helps complete a picture. And I know some people can play past their measurements, but those are things scouts write down. Those are boxes checked. A lot of people were checking boxes today. So with us talking about checking boxes, Cameron Kinley, straight out of Navy, one of our special cases that we got here today as far as being just an elite player on the field and an elite guy off the field.
I mean,
we've been looking forward to this interview since we got here, so it's a pleasure to have you on.
No, I'm excited to get with y'all, man. I appreciate y'all for having me.
Yeah, here's what really is going on. Okay, so there's an inauguration going on in Washington, D.C. In what, about 8 years, 10, 12 years, we'll be voting for him.
Yeah,
right?
So,
that's kind of how it works. So it's a big deal for us, but so we're going to replay. We're going to run this back here in about 12 years, 16 years, and be like, hey, man, we had the president of the United States on with us, at an interview here in Fort Worth. So that's pretty awesome.
I think so. That's a pretty rare deal of the accomplishments you have in school as well as on the field, being a class president, and then also you're excelling on the field like you have. When you balance those two together, I'm sure that's extra responsibilities.
Right.
It's, class president isn't like when you're in fourth grade and you win your vote with these, big poster cards. What are the responsibilities that you have to juggle with being class president and along with your commitment on the field?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely challenging, but that's what I like about the Naval Academy. It's done a great job of teaching me time management and things like that. So the class president essentially serves as the liaison between my class and the higher ranking officers on the yard, like the captains, and you got the commandant and the superintendent, who's the admiral. So I'm basically the voice for my class, and I'm in charge of planning a lot of different events, especially with graduation coming up in the spring. I got to give a speech at graduation.
A big thing. Keggers, right?
Yeah.
Got to get those approved.
Different events, different parties for the class, just celebrating. And it's been unique this year with COVID, trying to make our year as memorable as we can and make sure the seniors are having a positive year despite everything that's going on. So it's definitely a privilege for sure.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Did you ever, when you live in Memphis, right, going to Naval Academy, is that something you strive for? I mean, because that's a huge deal, right? 1991 was the last time,
I believe it was 1991 or something like that.
That a football player has been the class president?
Yeah.
I mean, so that's a huge honor, because, it's not, there's dudes, that's two jobs. Okay? What people don't understand is, if you're a football fan, or even if you're not a football fan, as a former athlete myself, a collegiate athlete, that's two jobs. Number one, you're a student, right? First of all, and then you're a football player, two full-time jobs, and now then at the Naval Academy, it's even on top of that because you have your military assignments and things that you got, your responsibilities you have to do as far as roll call and other things that you have to do on the campus.
For sure.
And then you throw in class president on top of that. I mean, talk about time management, but sleep and then all the rest of the things that you have to do. That is a huge commitment, and that is for you doing it for our country alone, dude. Mad props for you, man. I'm just telling you that is huge. And then now to find the time to be able to come down here to Fort Worth and compete and try to chase another dream of playing in the NFL. Dude, you're going to end up a Patriot. We know Belichick, right? Belichick takes all the Navy guys, right?
It's like a little bit.
You already kind of know. I know you guys. I know the Navy's got it. As the class president, you probably already got something worked out with your little corporal or whatever the guys you answer to. You've already got that letter written, and it's probably already on Belichick's desk. But no matter what, man, I'm just telling you, it's an honor for us to talk to you and have you here, and that's exciting. So what are you hoping to get out of this week?
Yeah, just some exposure, kind of going to Navy. You get a lot of different stereotypes about our players, and we're under-recruited, so a lot of people don't think we can really play well, and we have to deal with the military aspect of things while we're at the academy, and then even after you graduate. So it's a lot of speculation in the air. So I'm looking forward to getting out there and competing with guys who went to bigger schools, Power 5, mid-majors, whatever it might be, and just being able to showcase my ability, showing that, yes, I go to Navy, yes, I do this off the field, but at the same time, I'm also a ball player, at the end of the day. So when it's time to get on the field, I can make plays. So I'm excited to show that in front of scouts.
Are you worried about getting pigeonholed as far as maybe not being the smartest guy on the field? No, I'm joking with you. I'm joking with you. You might be too smart. I mean, all these other dudes are like, they walk into a room with Cameron and they're like, who's got the highest GPA? Who's got the, right? I mean, is that right?
I was about to go there with, I don't know if it could give you a real stereotype of that you're too smart, you're too focused, you got such a career ahead of you in many different facets, which I'm sure you do. And so people don't pay attention to you as the ball player as much.
Right.
And maybe even scouts don't take you as serious as the ball player.
That's because he's smarter than all those guys too, right?
Oh, for sure. You're a scout.
Yeah, you know that. Can I ask you a question? Can you help me with this math problem, please? Yeah, right.
So, and I'm just sitting here, we've been talking, 5-6 minutes now, and we've been talking about that stuff, right? And we haven't even dug into the ball player. So let's flip that. Let's talk about on the field. One, as you get out of here and you go into the off season here and continue on, what's your goals going into the summer and the fall? Where do you want to be at?
Yeah, I mean, speed is the main thing I'm focused on right now. I was a track guy in high school, so I can run pretty well. So I feel like if I can get my 40 down in like the 4.4 range, being 6'1", 205, I feel like that would benefit me well. So that's definitely going to be one of my biggest emphasis going into this offseason and the training and whatnot. And then just continue to perfect my craft as a DB. One thing that's always important are your hips and the movement and being able to flip and change direction. So working with a lot of different resistance to become more explosive. And then, I mean, come May, NFL draft, of course, get picked up by a team, and then from there, just working my way up wherever it might be, practice squad, special teams, get into the rotation, just fitting in where I can get in and just making the most of my opportunity.
Regarding special teams at Navy, how much were you involved in that, maybe earlier on or all the way through? How much experience on that? Were you playing both sides of it or going in as a runner? Is that something that you could see yourself doing?
Yeah, I most definitely played special teams a lot early on in my career at Navy, my freshman and sophomore year. And then even my junior year, I was still on punt return, playing some of that. And then as the season went on, they kind of transitioned, put some of the younger guys on the special teams. So I was focused more on defense my last 2 years at Navy.
That's understandable.
Yeah, I definitely got some time in special teams on kickoff and punt return and punt and things like that. So I can definitally play it.
And you're smart. He already brings it up. You can tell he knows that's how you're going to
get up. For sure. That's how you play in college. So I know that's how you play at the next level too.
That's exactly right. And that, you could be coming from Navy or Alabama. That still holds true. So it's very important that we do that. But the size, the weight, these things are great. They spell outside corner. Got sufficient length. You're right. You want to get that 4.5. And even if you could hit the next gear down, that would be, these are all great numbers and they spell that, but, also versatility on the defense would be key and would spell out maybe they would try you out at safety at the free. And even if you maybe put on another 5 pounds or so going over to the strong, if you did that and they wanted to move you over there, how much weight do you think you could put on yourself mass wise? And going to the NFL programs, you see guys beef up a little bit. How much could you see yourself doing that and still play at the speed and versatility that you use now?
Well, it's funny. So I kind of come from a football background. My dad played defensive end at MTSU. My older brother played linebacker at Illinois, actually spent some time in the NFL. And my younger brother's a defensive end at MTSU. So I'm actually the only skilled player left in the family, So my frame's kind of big naturally. And it's funny, going into my junior season, I actually got up to 215. And then the coaches told me to cut it down to 205, or I was probably going to move inside the box. And I felt fine at 215. I was still moving the same, still moving well. So I don't think it'd be a problem at all, bulking up and maintaining my speed and my ability. So that wouldn't be a problem at all.
I will tell you this. Stay at corner and at 205 for as long as you possibly can.
Look, that's a plan.
Here's the deal. You can go be a safety right now and play 8 to 10 maybe, right? You can go play 8 to 10 at corner and then go play another 5 or 6 Charles Woodson style, right? at safety. So that's one of the things that as a former scout that I love is I love length on corners. Okay, you got 32+ inch arms, right? You're tall, 6'1", 204 pounds that you measured in at. So those are all things that you're going to be able to work on, and that you have already God gave you, right? Those gifts, those are your gifts. Besides working on your hips and working on your speed, how do you feel as your on-ball coverage, as far as press and things like that? Is that a strength for you? Is there something you can work on getting stronger and press? Because that's a big thing in the NFL, right? I mean, you're going to be going against DK Metcalf.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right? I mean, you're going against dudes that are grown men. And so is that something you're looking to work on, or is that something that you feel like, okay, I feel pretty good about this right now?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like press man technique is something that's always evolving. You know, at Navy, I had the opportunity to play under 3 different position coaches, and so each coach brought a new technique. And so for me, having the ability to adapt to all those different techniques and be able to mix it up in the game was very beneficial for me. And so from my freshman year all the way up to my senior year, I mean, I saw improvements in my press man game, and it's something that I'm going to continue to prove on no matter how good it gets. But it's something I'm definitely confident in and playing. Being 6'1" with long arms, I mean, it's to my advantage, you know, rather than playing off with some of these speedy guys that you go against.
Sure.
So I definitely love getting on the line and getting physical and being able to go ahead and get my hands on those guys and be with them when they're running the routes and things like that. So.
I want to bring this up a little bit. We talked about this a little, Cameron, before we got on here. Is for so long, if you made a military commitment as a college athlete, you weren't allowed to go play in the NFL until you served your commitment. Until it was like, for a while it was 4 years, and it was 2 years.
Yep.
I mean, the rules kind of bounced around.
Yeah, it's kind of changed.
Guys had played for a little bit, and then they had to get sent back to a commitment, and then they got to go back in the NFL. How has that changed now for you? And so, are you able to? If you're drafted in late April, are you able to go right away, or how does that work?
Yes, sir. So the rule changed with President Trump. He came in, I believe it was 2018, if I'm not mistaken, and changed the rule to where athletes now from the service academies can go directly out and play professional sports as long as they get picked up. And then you kind of delay your commitment, or you can pay it off later on down the road. So that's huge, because I think my freshman and sophomore year, you had to serve 2 years and then try to come back. And by then, I mean, you know, teams are constantly replacing.
Sure.
So they might not be interested in you anymore. So
that's where a lot of
it's definitely huge.
Years,
yeah, a lot can happen in 2
every
years.
guy that does come back from that, and then it's like a storyline, right? And it's got to be that big of a thing where, oh, he's came back and now he's going to get in. And sometimes they're 30 years old, which we've seen before too. And
your body's different, man.
So this is, it's a huge thing for the armed forces teams, where there's a lot of talent coming out, and you just don't see them on the NFL teams like you should. And they really compete, and you see some hella athletes.
So no matter what your political leanings are, thank you, Donald Trump, for that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I definitely appreciate that.
Shout out for that. Right? Exactly right.
Yeah,
so,
that was amazing.
Yeah, I think that's a huge deal, and I think that's going to be really fun for you. And we, like I said, we joke. I know Bill Belichick is, of course, has a lot of ties there to Annapolis, but I think no matter what, I think your ability and I think the way you present yourself is but on the field and off the field, that goes a long way. And I mean, that's got to be exciting for you right now as you move forward to this. When you do have to serve your commitment, when you do, what field are you doing? I mean, what's your specialty? What are you going into? What will you be doing?
Yeah, so I got selected in November as a Naval Intelligence Officer. So it's not really too much I can go into regarding that, dealing with just clearances
killing bad dudes. It's like all those novels I read, right? Those bad novels.
I'm thinking
really good
Hunt for Red October is going through my mind right now. Calling him XO.
We're going to be making movies about Cameron.
It's exciting, though. It's exciting. So, yeah, like I said, I can't get into too many details, but I'm definitely excited if this doesn't work out, going to do that. Or even if this does work out, still going back and doing that. I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Well, you get my vote as president in 16 years or 12 years, whatever you decide to run. So we're good to go. That's awesome. And congratulations.
I appreciate that.
Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate
Cameron, look forward to it. Hey, tomorrow on the field, we'll see you do that. It's a good opportunity to show your skill set right next to some talented guys that are here. So we'll film it. We'll do it. We'll get your videos out there, and we'll get you that exposure.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
All right. God bless you.
Take care.